Hey guys, Rachael here, and welcome to episode number 7 of the Walk the Talk podcast. Hi everyone, it's Rachael here, your host of the Walk the Talk podcast. I hope you're very well today. I have got a great interview for you today, and we're talking about exercise. We haven't actually talked much about exercise on the podcast yet, so I wanted to get someone on board to talk about that with me. So I have the lovely Stuart Cain of Hitzone in Telford here, who is the founder and owner of this awesome company whose mission is to change the lives of people all over the world to get you fitter with something called high intensity interval training. So I'm going to interview Stu for you on this podcast. We are going to talk about lots of stuff exercise wise. We cover everything from what sort of exercise is the best type to do if you want to lose weight, to where to start with, how to choose a gym or choose a type of exercise, and all the way to how to fit exercise into your daily routine. So if you would like to know more about that, then hang around for this interview. It's fantastic. Just before we get into the interview, I wanted to tell you a little bit about my online nutrition program, Transform 21. The reason I want to tell you about this today is because the new group starts next week. So if you're listening to the podcast in October 2017, then we have the next group starting next week on Thursday, the 12th of October. And there are still lots of spaces left. If you book before Friday this week, it means that you get the early bird discount on that program. So head on over to transform21.co.uk to reserve your place, and we will get started next Thursday with changing your life with awesome nutrition advice, step-by-step, day-by-day accountability and motivation, and of course your coach, myself, for the full 3 weeks. So go on over there and find out more about the program. Until then, let's get started with the interview. Okay, I'm here with Stu from Hitzone. How are you this morning, this afternoon, or tonight?
I'm good, thank you. Not too bad at all. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. We are going to talk about exercise today because Stu is the owner of a company called Hitzone, who has gyms all over the south of England. Is that right?
No, we've got a couple in the Midlands, couple in Northern Ireland, one in the south, and one opening next Tuesday in Australia.
I was just going to say that. That's mega exciting.
Yeah, that is very exciting.
Just before we get into the nitty-gritty of what we're going to talk about today, I'm going to ask you a question I ask everybody when they've come onto the podcast, and that is this. If I had just met you walking down the street and asked you what it is that you do, how would you describe what you do?
I would say that I am the founder and owner of a business that helps people who don't have a traditional facility to exercise to change their life through health and fitness, to get healthier, to get fitter, to be happier, have more energy through high intensity interval training. In a nutshell, that's what we do. Yeah,
so
that's what we do.
What is high intensity interval training when it's at home?
It's a form of exercise which is a short workout, probably 20 to 25 minutes, based around periods of kind of high intensity exercise and short periods of rest interspersed. So, for example, you could do 30 seconds of exercise, 20 seconds rest, and repeat that, with the aim being that you're raising your heart rate, kind of skyrocketing that, and then letting it recover, and then exercising again. And it's got loads of benefits around fat burning and heart health, and even down to energy and things like that. So yeah, that's what high intensity training is.
Okay, so tell me a little bit about your background. So where did you start? When did you start getting into fitness, and what was the journey between you starting to get interested in health and fitness and deciding to open your own facilities?
For me, it was about, I was always fit as a youngster, and this kind of is mirrored with a lot of our members at Hitzone. I was always fit as a youngster, played football, played all kind of sports, could always turn my hand to doing things, and was naturally fit through those. I never really followed a fitness regime. I didn't really go to gyms or whatever as I grew up. And then when that kind of sport stopped, as I became kind of a young adult in my 20s, I lost my fitness, because I wasn't playing competitive sport anymore. Work got in the way, personal life got in the way, and because of that, I put on weight. I lost a lot of confidence, and never really found comfort in going to a gym. I had gym memberships, never really found comfort in going to them. I'd go for a little while, stop going, wouldn't really concentrate on what I was eating, and I worked in the industry with regards to selling equipment, so selling fitness equipment. As I was meeting trainers and going to gyms, independent gyms, big chain gyms, all of these kind of things, it kind of struck me how they were great for people that could use them, but there was a huge proportion of the population that couldn't. And around this time, I'd started to try and get myself fit again. I was really unhappy with what I saw in the mirror, and I started playing football again. And when I couldn't kind of run for more than about 10 minutes, and where I used to be able to play 90 minutes every day of the week, it kind of hit home as, I was only 30 and I was in terrible shape, let alone what my actual health was like from that. So an opportunity came through a meeting with the guy who's now my business partner, around this concept of what now has become HIIT and it was based around looking at people who didn't have the facility to exercise. Either they were intimidated by gyms, didn't know what they were doing, lacked the motivation, lacked the time, whatever it was, to go to a traditional gym or to go and do 10 miles a night running out on the road, and to try and provide a community and an environment using some kind of pretty cool machines we've got, HIIT machines, which kind of make exercise a bit more accessible to all, and that's kind of how HIIT was born. And 2 years ago, this month, we opened the first one in Telford, and number 6 is just about to open now. So that was the kind of journey for it. And I'm a big believer with the fact that if you own and run a business, kind of you should be able to be a customer of that business. And if I didn't own and found HIIT, it would be the perfect option for myself. And that enables me to, when I make a lot of decisions and when I do a lot of our things right, whether it's marketing, whether it's what we offer with a product, anything like that, I only have to look at myself as, would it work for me? And if, I'm not special in any way, I'm a normal bloke, struggles for time, struggles for motivation now and again. And so if it worked for me, I think it works for quite a large proportion of the population.
Yeah, and you touched on something that I think we're going to cover quite a lot in this episode of the podcast, and that is that a lot of people are either feel intimidated by or are unsure what to do when they actually go to a commercial gym, and perhaps even think that is their only option if they want to lose weight and get fit. I know when I was younger, I had a bit of quite a few hang-ups about my body, as you do when you're a young teenage female, and I didn't realise at that time the amount of different things that are out there that you can actually do to improve your health and fitness without going into, joining a traditional gym.
Yeah.
And I think there are a lot of people out there who are perhaps putting off getting fit or aiming to get fitter because of the fear of that, that initial, I need to join a gym, or the fear of walking into a gym and being the new person there. And we've all been there, and it is very daunting and it can be very embarrassing as well.
Yeah.
And I can completely understand why a lot of people will join a gym, walk into a gym, walk straight back out again, and then never return and sort of give up on that journey. And I think we wanted to talk a lot about today was the fact that in order for exercise to become something that is part of your daily routine and something that you actually don't want to put off doing, then you need to find something that you actually enjoy, because even the best fitness regime in the entire world is going to be completely useless for you unless you actually look forward to doing it. And that's not to say you're not going to look forward to, you're going to look forward to doing it all the time, because let's face it, there are days that we all can't be arsed.
Yep. Yeah.
But it sounds like you've built something there. You've built a business around, around the fact that you don't have to go into a traditional gym and, do squats, deadlifts and bench press in order to get fit.
Yeah, and I totally think that. And I also think that HIIT and HIIT training isn't for everybody. We've had people come here and to our other studios who, they've come in and they've investigated and they've invested the time to sit down and talk to us about what they want, and it isn't for them. I mean, if somebody came to me today and said they wanted to appear on a stage in one of these, bikini or competitions, then they wouldn't be right for us. They need a coach, they need a posing coach, they need a different kind of training and nutritional advice to what we give. But if somebody comes in here and says they want to get, we've had I just want to be able to run around with my grandkids without getting out of breath. Well, do they need to go and do leg day and arm day and kind of back day and eat chicken and green beans for every meal? No, they don't. They need somewhere that's fun, engaging, and a community to enjoy it. And that's really important. And I also think something that I'm not a massive fan of the fitness industry, which might sound strange from someone who owns and runs a business in it. But for example, most people, if we could create a magic pill that meant they were slimmer, a bit healthier, had a bit more energy, their skin and hair was kind of feeling better, and they were healthy on the inside, most people would take it because they don't want to spend the time to exercise. Most people would rather spend that time with their family, watching their favorite TV program, working harder in their job so they can get, further their career, whatever it is that presses people's buttons. And therefore, we're trying to provide a facility that allows people to get a quick, effective, fun workout and that suits them. But by the same token, if somebody wants to go and throw weights around a gym for an hour and a half every night because they enjoy it, great, go and do it. It's going to make you healthier, and it's going to make you fitter, and it's your thing. So I like the idea that there's a choice for people. It's great.
When you say you don't like the state that the fitness industry's in just now, what part of that do you not? What part of it do you dislike?
I kind of think it's almost eating itself in that anybody can appear on Instagram with their top off and be a fitness model.
Yeah.
But for the vast majority of people, scrolling through Instagram or Facebook and seeing those pictures just makes things worse. A lot of people don't realise that the shape people get in isn't just down to training. It can be down to genetics. It's down to diet. It's down to lifestyle, and good lighting and filters as well. And therefore, I think one of the problems is that the budget gym market has conditioned people that £10 a month or £20 a month is what your health and fitness is worth. And nothing against that market because it's there for a reason. It does suit some people. But if you need specialist help, if you need something that's out of the ordinary, out of the budget market, you're going to have to find something that suits, and that doesn't necessarily come cheap. It doesn't come at £10 or £20 a month. It costs a little bit more than that, and I think I just think it's very just kind of got boring, and a lot of fitness facilities kind of it's their way or the highway. There's no reasoning, there's no reasoned debate and discussion. I mean, I'm a member of a few groups, PT groups and fitness business groups on Facebook, and some of the crap that's thrown at each other because somebody has a different opinion. That makes it really confusing for the people out there that are listening to this podcast. They probably can resonate with that because they are even someone who's sort of I would class myself as clued up in these things. Yep. Like, there's so many different opinions out there on what the best type of exercise is for you, and if your goal is to lose weight. And like I said before, I believe that the best type of exercise for you to lose weight is the type of exercise that you're going to keep doing. Yeah. So, and if that's 3 or 4 different things, if you find that training, doing something at HIIT twice a week, going to Zumba twice a week and doing yoga once a week, if that works for you, your schedule, your enjoyment, and it gets you results, then kind of crack on. I'm not precious about people doing more than just HIIT because I believe 95% of people in the fitness industry and the nutrition and all of that kind of thing are doing it for the right reasons. They want to see people's health improve. They want to see people's fitness improved. It's not primarily about making money and getting the most amount of customers you can through your door. It's about making a difference. And therefore, if somebody wants to do this and something else, even if it's a rival business, so to speak, great. If it's going to make you healthier, it's going to make you fitter and you enjoy it, go and do it. Don't kind of think you've got to just do one thing day in, day out, and because you'll probably get bored of that quicker than if you're doing a variety of things.
Keep it varied and try lots of different things. That's one of the best pieces of advice that I would give to someone out there that's possibly like deciding between trying this or trying that, or maybe they want to get fitter, is don't put all your eggs in one basket. So don't just try one thing and then decide, oh, I need to force myself to like this because it's the only thing out there, because the number of different ways that you can get fit these days is unreal. Like, there are so many different ways to go about it. You've got things like fitness classes, which is where I started out. Like, if I hadn't went to Body Pump that Tuesday night about 10 years ago, there's no way I would have even like probably set foot in a gym again. So, you know, you've got fitness classes, you have, you know, you can join a gym, you can go to places like HIIT where you go in and, you know, the routine is there for you. You've got an instructor, which would suit me because I need someone to tell me what to do.
Yeah, and a lot of people say that. And I think something that also strikes me about this, and it was actually one of our members said it to me, you know, a lady in her 50s who kind of wasn't happy with where she was with her weight and where she was with her fitness, and she'd spent 12 months kind of saying, right, what I need to do is lose weight. And when I lose weight, I can go and set foot in a gym, or I can go and start a HIIT zone, or whatever it is that the thing was. And it kind of, she had a bit of a eureka moment of thought, hold on, I need to go and do that in order to lose weight. And I think so many people are intimidated by this stuff on Instagram and Facebook and stuff that they see, that they think I have to be skinny or slim or strong or have a certain amount of muscle, you know, see so many abs and things in order to go and exercise. And it's just totally the wrong way around. And I think that's, again, really important for people to realize that everybody starts somewhere, and regardless of who you are, you know, yourself who does CrossFit and is what most people would class as pretty fit and in shape. If you were to come to HIIT Zone and do your first session with the sessions here as 6 people, no more than 6 people, then you're still going to be nervous as somebody who's 25 stone and never worked out for 20 years and that kind of thing. Everyone is nervous and everyone's kind of starting from somewhere.
Yeah, too right. Like, honestly, a lot of people assume that people who work in the fitness industry or are coaches, that we don't get nervous, but I can tell you right now, I travel a lot and I always find a gym or a class or something to go to when I'm away. And when I walk through the door of that gym or class or whatever it is I'm going to, I can tell you right now that I am just as nervous now as I was 10 years ago when my friend took me to Body Pump for the first time and I thought I was going to die. I can tell you right now, I still get nervous, and it is completely and utterly normal to be nervous. And you are not the only person who is nervous. You can guarantee that there's at least another 3 or 4 people in that room that are feeling just as nervous as you are. And the thing is, you're only going to be new once. You're only going to be the newbie for one day. After that, you're in with the bricks and mortar.
Yep. And I think the other thing that you have to realise is whether you go into a class of 30 people or to a class at HIIT Zone of 6 people or 7 people or 8 people at some of our studios, that every single person in that session at some point in the last, well, for us, it's in the last 2 years, but for other places more, they've also done their first ever session. They all know what you feel like, how you feel, how nerve-wracking it was. So a lot of the time, they want to put their arm around you and actually say, come on. And people love it when other people join their tribe or their community or their group, and a new face is there and things. And that's such an important part, I believe. It's why, you know, as we spoke kind of before this about CrossFit. It's not something I've ever tried. And I don't particularly think it is for me, but there's a lot of things about CrossFit that I have a huge amount of admiration from as a business owner, let alone anything else, in that, you know, that it's quite a joke about people who do CrossFit kind of only talk about CrossFit. And that's because what they're doing and the offering that they've got there is so addictive and is such a great community and a tribe. There's a reason there's 10,000 CrossFit boxes around the world, is because that community and that tribe is so strong and people feel like they belong to something. Yeah, and they do belong to something.
Yeah, for me, when it comes to CrossFit, is the community aspect of it is probably the most important thing, because I know for a fact, like, I struggle to feel motivated quite a lot, and I know that if there weren't other people, you know, if I didn't turn up, someone is going to turn around and say, "Where were you yesterday, Rachel?"
Yep.
Like, do you know what I mean? And that's what I like. That's why I've always been more interested in the group training aspect. So things like fitness classes or small group personal training, and then CrossFit as well, because I mean, by no means am I tarring everyone with the same brush here, but if I was left on my own and given a program and left to get on with it, chances are I'm going to talk myself out of it most days.
I've done it myself in the past. I've had a personal trainer with a program, and I paid a really good amount of money, and had a couple of sessions a week with this person, and they wrote me a brilliant program for the gym. And if that program said go and do 10 back squats at 100 kilos 3 times, I'd do 8 at 90 kilos twice, and then think I'll go and run on the treadmill. It's because I'm not motivated to do it, even though that gym membership plus the training plan plus the training sessions cost me, in the hundreds of pounds per month. I just didn't, I didn't have the motivation to do it. I couldn't be bothered. And I think we're all intrinsically like that. I don't think motivation's a magic thing that grows on trees.
No, it's definitely
unfortunately.
not. It's definitely not.
Yeah.
But, okay, so let's strip this back, right? I want you to imagine that there is someone, and there are probably several, out there listening to the podcast, and they are sitting nodding their heads, yes, I'm talking about you, thinking, I would love to get fitter, but I don't know where to start. What would your initial response to that be?
I would say to put an hour aside of your time, sit down with a pen and paper and your computer or your phone in front of you, and just have a scan around your Facebook and a bit of Google, and just see what there is in the local area. Just have a look at what there is. Look at the local gyms, look at the local fitness studios, personal trainers, fitness classes, and just write a list and try and have a little look on YouTube or at videos of what it involves. And the one thing that I would say makes, and this is a little bit superficial, but it kind of gives people that little, maybe that ounce of confidence. And I've had people say it to me when I do our consultations before people join. Go and have a look at pictures of who does it. Real pictures, not the ones with models in or anything like that. Just go and look at the pictures of their sessions, and can you picture yourself in that environment? Don't think about what I'd be out of breath after a minute, or I couldn't pluck up the courage to walk through that. Just have a look at who does it. And so many of our members have said to me, I looked at your pictures and I saw a lady who was a bit overweight, or I saw a bloke who was in his 50s, and I thought, if he can do it, so can I. And that often gives people that first little bit of courage to make a phone call. And I would say ring up, make an inquiry, ring up, send a message on Facebook, and start the conversation. Because there's a kind of saying I use, imagine your motivation as a cheese wedge. And right now, when you've put that hour aside, your cheese wedge, you're at the thick end, you kind of really motivate, you think, I want to do something. The longer time goes by, the thinner that cheese wedge gets, and suddenly you get to the end and your motivation's gone. You have a bad day, or you have something goes wrong, and you forget. So if you send a ton of messages, 10, 15 messages out to places, 10 of them might not get replies, 3 of them might be unsuitable, but 1 of them will work. And then because you've made that inquiry, you're in the journey, you've got skin in the game, kind of thing. And then go and actually speak to them, go and have a look at the studio or the gym or what have you, but don't walk in somewhere and think, I've got to join before I find anything out.
Yeah, I think I was quite guilty for that when I first started looking for somewhere to train and stuff back in the day, was that I felt like if I went to see somewhere, if I went to view a gym, I almost felt like, oh God, I better join now, otherwise I'm going to look like an idiot, or I'm going to look scared. But if you if you go somewhere or you try something and you don't like it, don't be afraid to just walk away from it. Like, it's not the be all and end all, and it's not the end of the world. Chances are, that's just not for you, and you need to find something that you enjoy doing.
And I don't see why it's any different for people to any other product or service you'd buy. You wouldn't go test drive 3 cars and the one that you didn't like because you test drove it, you bought it. Or if you go into the supermarket and you go and pick up 3 apples and 2 of them aren't the type you like, then you don't buy them just because you've seen them. You shop around. We, as consumers, as members of the public, you've got the control. You're in control of. You don't have to give me your direct debit details. No, exactly. You only do that if you see value. And the other thing I would say that's really important is don't look at a price and say, what am I getting in? For example, how many sessions do I get for that price? Because with a gym membership at £30 a month, you could go every day and it's £1 a session. Yeah. But if you're not doing the right thing, or you're going for 3 minutes a day and not doing anything, or you're walking on a treadmill, you don't get results, you're paying £30 for nothing. Try and equate the money you're going to part with, whatever that is, with what it'll do to your life and think, what will being fitter do for me? Will it mean that my joints don't ache every time I get out of bed in the morning? Will it mean that I've got more energy and my personal relationships are improved because I'm happier and healthier with my spouse or with my partner? Will it mean that those memories you can create by running around the garden with your grandchildren are actually memories that you can create rather than something you think, oh my God, I can't move because I'll be out of breath? And that's what you've got to equate it to. And when you get that emotional tie, everything becomes that whole lot easier because you're doing it for a reason, not just for a number on a scale or what you think society says you should look like. And that's really important to me.
Yeah, I think a lot of, like, I'm just going to touch on this as well because I'm seeing it more and more these days, is that people tend to put a price on their happiness and their health, whereas, you know, let's talk about, you know, the cost per session. Like, a lot of people will inquire with me. I don't do personal training anymore, but I used to. And it'd be like, oh, how much you charge for a session? And I'm like, I don't charge per session. Like, there's no such thing. You can't buy an hour of my time because because like I could sit down with you for an hour and never see you again, and I will know that I have not changed your life in that time. That's why if I do personal training now, which I don't, but I do online coaching, nutrition, one-to-one, all that kind of stuff, is that you're paying me for me to make you feel better about your life. Like you said, to be able to run around with your grandkids, to be able to walk upstairs at work without feeling out of breath, to be able to go home from your work every night and have the energy to, you know, stay up for an extra couple of hours to talk to your partner rather than go to bed and fall asleep. And you know, all of these things. And we have to remember that when you're investing in your health and well-being and your fitness, whether that be by going to a Zumba class, by going to a yoga class, by hiring a personal trainer, you've got to remember that you're not paying to go to the gym. You're paying for everything else that comes with that. And I think a lot of people devalue that nowadays. And I think that's one of the main reasons why I don't actually do personal training at the moment, is because there are just so many people out there selling, you know, shit.
Blocks of time,
blocks of personal training sessions for like a tenner a pop.
We don't do pay as you go. We don't do hourly rates. We don't do blocks of 10. You can't buy blocks. You invest in a membership. Okay, we've got lots of different options, length of time, how many sessions you, etc., etc. But in the end, and it's why we offer a money back guarantee as well. If people don't get results and they follow what we do, then they get their money back. And it's because we are trying to say, it's kind of what we've underpinned this whole conversation with, is that I don't want to say health and fitness is a way of life, because that's not what I mean, but being healthy and happy is a way of life. It isn't doing 10 sessions of something so that 3 Instagram photos when you're on holiday look good, because if you're just wasting your money. If then after that holiday you go back to being unhappy, never wanting to be seen in anything other than baggy clothes and everything else, then what have you really done other than kind of thrown a bit of money away for a couple of photos?
Yeah.
I'd rather just say to someone, let me use a editing tool and make the photos look a little bit better, and don't waste your money. I'd rather somebody come to me, and even if they come to HIIT for a year and then they leave and go and do something else because we've changed their life and they realise their potential, that's cool. Of course I want people to be members for life. You know, that would be great. You know, that would be fantastic, but that isn't going to be for everybody. People are going to move, people's lives will change, and if we can provide something that gives people that ability to just realize we've all got the potential. I had a conversation with someone the other day about being able to run a marathon or do a triathlon or what have you. And I think I genuinely believe that everybody could do that, because everybody can condition their body to be able to run 26 miles. You can condition your body to do that. What's very different is having the mindset to be able to do it and to get up on those cold, rainy mornings and go for a run or whatever it is you do. And that's what we're trying to change, is people's mindset and outlook on their life, rather than just, oh, I exercise twice a week for 25 minutes. Yeah.
And you need to know why you want to do it as well. Just when you said there about conditioning your body to do a marathon and being able to wake up, you know, practically the middle of the night and go out in the wind and rain and train, like, no fucking way am I doing that.
Exactly,
But do you know why? Because because that's not
to
important to me. Whereas, you know, I have friends who are triathletes and long distance runners, and for them, it's their whole life and soul, like getting up at 4 a.m. to go out and do a long run before they go to work, to me, see, like, I'm like, you absolutely bonkers, but I understand why they do it, because they probably wouldn't want to go into the gym for 3 hours a day and practice doing cleans and deadlifts. Like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah. We've got a lady here, remember, at Telford, and she blows my mind every time I see her. She was in intensive care with she's got asthma, brittle asthma, and she was in intensive care the week before she came and met us earlier this year.
Wow.
And she's running the London Marathon. She's got a place next April.
Wow.
And don't get me wrong, she hates every minute of the training. She swears all the way through the sessions here. She hates running. She tells her husband to F off every time he takes her out for a run. But the reasons behind her doing it, raising money for the Asthma UK, I believe that the charity is, and what she knows what it's like to have asthma. She knows how much this money will help people. That is her why, and that underpins everything she does. And therefore, she'll run through brick walls to do it.
Yeah.
Because her why is strong enough.
Yeah.
For me, my why isn't strong enough. There is not a strong enough draw for me to run them. I've entered the ballot for some stupid reason. I'm just praying I don't get a place.
I did that one year, and when I got the email to say I didn't get a place, I was like, yes!
That's what I'm thinking. It's getting very close.
But do you know
when
what?
We find out. And,
I would. But do you know what? Something inside me secretly does say, do you know what? I would love to be able to say that I have run a marathon, but my desire is not strong enough at the moment. And when you say, like, knowing why you're doing something, that can change all the time.
Yep.
As well. It doesn't need to stay the same. Like you say, I've been into CrossFit for a good couple of years now, and I also really enjoy walking. So I walk probably about 1.5 to 2 hours every single day.
Yeah.
And I'm actually enjoying that more at the moment than I'm enjoying CrossFit. So I've cut my CrossFit back from 6 days a week to like 2 or 3 days a week, and I'm doing more walking, because for me, that at the moment, my reason why I'm doing that is more important than why I wanted to do CrossFit, and that will change as well. So,
I think,
things
I think there's something powerful with that, in that some people say to me, running, it clears their mind and they can just zone out and things. That is literally the opposite of what it makes me do.
Yeah.
I spend half an hour running, or like waddling along and plodding, thinking about my business, thinking about what's for dinner, thinking about stuff I've got to sort out in my personal life, all of that stuff. Whereas when I do a HIIT session, or I imagine if I tried boxing or something like that is totally all consuming, I can't think about anything else when I'm dying doing 30 seconds of mountain climbers or something like that. I can't think of anything else. Therefore, it's good for me mentally. Running is not good mentally, because it just exacerbates, it gives me more time to think, and that's something I don't need. It is more stuff to go around my head. But I think it's important there what you goals moving and goals changing. I hate how prescriptive goal setting is, and therefore goals can change from day to day. Goals can change when you wake up in the morning and think, you know what, I can't be bothered to go and kill myself in the gym today. I actually just want to go for a walk because
that was me
I'm
today.
feeling a bit anxious and or whatever it is, anxiety. It can be work's particularly busy, or sometimes it can be, you know what, I've actually got a couple of spare hours today. Life isn't as busy. Why don't I go and take in the beautiful surroundings of wherever we live? Everyone's got local parks and green spaces they can go and walk in.
That's the thing about getting healthy and getting fit, that a lot of people think that you've got to step foot in a gym, but actually, if you are still feeling overwhelmed and you really, really believe that you can't face going to a gym or going to fitness classes or anything like that at the moment, one of the things that you can do is actually just get outside and walk, because it's something that I personally do a lot, and I actually do it because it gives me time to think about things like the business and work and personal life and things that, sometimes you can't see the wood for the trees when you're sitting at your desk, but when you're out there, like ideas come and all that kind of stuff, and that's why I've been doing more walking recently. And you can get out there and walk for an hour a day. You're going to be fitter, by doing that than by doing nothing. And walking is probably one of the least embarrassing things that you can do. You can put, if you're like me, you can put a pair of baggy pants on, a hoodie, a pair of sunglasses, and some earphones. Head down, head out for an hour. Nobody even needs to know it's you.
Exactly. And I think it can solve a lot of things in life. Again, my mum found fitness quite late in life, and she's now a qualified personal trainer and takes all the sessions over at our Shrewsbury studio. And her kick into action was a couple of traumatic events. Both her parents passed away, and she started doing a lot of walking. because she needed to get out and get her mind around what had happened in her life. And she was fed up with the fact she was out of breath doing this very walking thing that seems so natural and so easy. But and that led her to go and start doing circuit training and doing personal training. And now she's she won't thank me for saying this, but 20 odd years older than me, but wipes the floor with me in any exercise session we ever do or anything like that. And genuinely is an inspiration to, I would say, tens and hundreds of people without realizing it. And that all started from going out and walking. And she still does it now, even though she goes and lifts heavy weights and kills herself in a HIIT session. She still goes out and walks.
I think that's amazing.
And it's really important. But
Oh, that's really cool. So what are your future plans for Hitzone then? Just you're going to be continuing to open some new studios? Any studios in Scotland planned by any chance?
Well, not at the moment, but we're in a lot of conversations. Perth opens next week. Perth in Australia, not Perth in Scotland, unfortunately. I've got family in Perth in Scotland. And they were all very excited when I announced that, thinking it was up there, but it wasn't. And then we've got our first studio inside the M25 opening this year, same as one in Devon. And then we're in about probably 8 or 9 other conversations with some really exotic and exciting places and some not so exotic. But the plan for me is to get as many studios as we can open, because every one that opens means we're changing another 100, 150 people's lives, hopefully. And then from a personal point of view, my kind of goal over the next kind of rest of this year and early next year is to practice what I preach, really. And for 2 years, I've kind of put the business first and my health and fitness, I wouldn't say on hold, but certainly very sporadic. And so, to practice what I preach and look after myself a little bit more and get a HIIT zone to all 4 corners of the globe would be nice.
Yeah, that'd be sweet as. I will take the brand name with me as I go around the world.
Yeah, you'll have to. We'll have to make sure that you send me a Walk the Talk fitness T-shirt, and I take and I'll send you a HIIT one to take with you. To Australia. But exciting plans. Exciting plans.
It sounds like it. So Stu is one of the first men ever to go through my Transform 21 program, and you're on day 2 at the moment.
Yeah, day 2.
How's it going?
Very well. Yeah. It's actually it's a great thing for me as a focus. I don't eat that badly. My main problem is my snacking. I don't eat that badly. I kind of know the basics. I'm not learning a lot about nutrition because of what I already know. But what I am seeing is a great little community, a lot of focus, and a kind of, I've made a commitment to, I don't know how many people are in that group, but to yourself, some other people I know who are doing it, and then some strangers. I've made a commitment that I'm going to follow this through for 21 days and kind of made that commitment. And that means that kind of when I sat here now feeling a little bit peckish because my lunch was 2 hours ago, that, I'm not going to go to the garage and get a bag of crisps. I'm going to eat the 2 boiled eggs that I've prepared myself, because I've made a commitment, and I've got a glass of water sitting here next to me that I've made a commitment again to you and to other people that I'm going to hit my targets. And I think it's a strange one. I think gender's becoming less and less important. It doesn't bother me that there's probably 90% women in that group. I know that sounds a bloke would say that, but it doesn't bother me because there's a load of people in there who are going through exactly the same struggles I do with nutrition and with exercise. We're no different from each other. It's just hormonally, and there's a few other things that will make a slight difference in calorie intake and things, but we're all the same. We all just want to be a bit healthier, a bit fitter, and I'm really enjoying it. And I was horrified by my before pictures I took on Saturday. They were kind of, I'm glad they're buried deep in my phone and nowhere else, but it gave me a kick up the bum, and I'm enjoying it. And I think a lot of the principles I'm learning, and we've got our plans amongst our 2 businesses to maybe do some stuff collaborating together. But there's already kind of principles that I'm learning that I can apply to exercise as well as nutrition within HIIT, which is really important.
I think when you said about the community aspect of the Transform 21 nutrition program that I run, I think it's quite similar in a way to the sort of the community aspect of the exercise exercise environment that you guys provide at HIIT because you're much more likely to stick to something if you have someone to hold you accountable for doing it. So if you are thinking about getting started with either improving your nutrition or starting to exercise or even both, having someone to do it along with you can be quite a powerful thing. So if you can rope a friend in to come out walking with you, or if you can convince your mum or your sister or your partner to get involved, I think that would be my final tip as well for anyone out there that wants to start something is, if you can have support of someone, either a friend or partner or, family member, or even a complete stranger, like we have in Transform 21, like a group of strangers all getting together,
That's
with
huge
a similar
for me.
goal.
I mean, even down to the wrist thing I wear, a Garmin thing. The fact that me, my mum, my dad, my auntie, and a friend are in a steps competition.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
I am very competitive, but even people who aren't competitive, it's just make it fun. Make it, have that somebody else to have a joke around with. And my dad yesterday was super proud of himself because he did about 5,000 steps. And when we all started ribbon, it was half of what we'd done. I bet you'll do more today.
I bet you will, yeah.
Yeah, because he's got that accountability and he's got them people. Okay, it is gentle, banter, and it's not serious, but the principle's there. Yeah. You don't want to let people down. You don't want to, you want to have someone to hold your hand and to feel like you've got a friend and a partner doing something. So, yeah, I think that's a great tip. And even if it helps settle your nerves when you walk through the door of a fitness facility the first time, or you ring up a nutritionist for the first time, even if it just helps you make that very first step and they don't actually follow things through with you, then it's done its job.
Totally.
It's done its job. So, yeah.
Totally. Brilliant.
Awesome.
I think we've covered some really good stuff today, so thanks very much, Stu.
Yeah, thank you.
So people that want to find out more about Hitzone, that are listening to the podcast, that maybe want to come and give it a go, where can they find out more about your gyms and your class timetables and stuff?
Yeah, well, I would say go firstly to thehitzone.co.uk is our website. And then also if you search Hitzone Telford on Facebook or Instagram, that's got some details, and basically any hit zone with the town's name after it. But Hitzone Telford, you'll see most stuff. Drop a message to our Facebook page there, and even if you're not from Telford, you're from Banbridge or Perth in Australia, whatever, we can guide you in the right direction. And that's where you need to look.
Cool, that's awesome. So thanks again, Stu.
Yeah, thank you very much for the chance, and I'll see you in the T21 group soon.
Yeah. Wasn't that a fantastic interview with Stuart from Hitzone? Thank you very much, Stu, again for coming onto the podcast and talking to me today. If you want to know more about the programme that Stuart is doing with me, Transform 21, I spoke about it at the beginning of the podcast, then head on over to transform21.co.uk. So whether you're a member of Hitzone and you're listening to this podcast, and if you are, hello, it's very nice to have you here. I hope you will subscribe and listen to the rest of the podcast. So if you're a member of Hitzone and you want to find out what Stu has been up to, you can sign up now at transform21.co.uk, and you can start in the next group actually. It starts next Thursday, that's the 12th of October, I believe. Even if you're not a member of Hitzone and you want to take part in the programme, then head on over to the website, again, transform21.co.uk. I'd love to have you in there. And guess what? If you book before Friday, which is tomorrow, is it? No, you've got 2 days. So if you're listening to this on Wednesday, the 4th of October, when it's released, you have 2 days to get the early bird offer on there. So you can pay £39 instead of £49 for the programme. So head on over to the website, get signed up, and I will see you next week. So next week I'm going to do a show that is just a Q and answer show. So it's just going to be me, and I'm going to answer your questions. So if you have any questions that relate to nutrition, lifestyle, sleep, stress, exercise, anything you want to ask me, send me an email. My email address is Rachael, that is RACHAEL, at walkthetalkfitness.co.uk. I would love to hear from you. If you have any questions, just pop me an email, put the subject line podcast questions, And I will answer that question on next week's podcast for you. I really look forward to speaking to you then. Have a great week.